Dear Mr. Hansen, dear friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's my real pleasure to welcome you all to the 8th edition of Luxinnovation's traditional Business Meets Research event. And I'm particularly delighted to welcome Secretary of State for Higher Education and Research, Marc Hansen, who will speak about the importance of improving and promoting collaboration between private businesses and public research organizations in the actions and tools available to stimulate and support such partnerships. I strongly believe that innovation provides a competitive advantage. Innovation must be the main driver of economic growth. It must yield tangible outcomes and it must meet the needs of companies. Why? Because now, more than ever, the businesses that succeed and the businesses that create jobs and growth are the businesses that innovate. Needless to say that we cannot afford to let Luxembourg fall behind other countries and regions when it comes to developing new economic niches and competing successfully in the global marketplace. We have to create and nurture a climate for innovation that encourages companies and research centers to pull together, tackle critical challenges together, and develop innovative solutions together. This is our surefire approach to growth and economic prosperity. Now, where do we stand in this respect today? Much has happened in the last 2 years to put Luxembourg on the right track, and its research and innovation landscape has undergone profound change. Indeed, Luxinnovation saw a double leadership change in 2012 and 2013 with the appointment of a new chairman and a new managing director, both tasked with a key mission to bring businesses and public research organizations closer together and to strengthen the cooperation between the key innovative stakeholders. This objective is firmly embedded in the agency's new 4-year performance contract that came into effect in 2014, centered on the delivery of measurable results. Following the snap elections of October 2013, a new government was formed in December of the same year, placing continued emphasis on the vital role of research and innovation in the shaping of sustainable growth. 2014 will also be remembered by the National Research Fund, another key research and innovation player, as a year of substantial change. Notably, its strategic direction was adapted and bolstered significantly, added by the conclusion of the third 4-year contract with the government. Another important development was the enlargement of the scope of the AVANA and the adoption of a modern, business-oriented governance model in line with its commitment to impact-driven research following the entry into effect of the law of 27th of August 2014, an amendment of the original AVANA law of May 1999. The creation on January 1st of this year of the list, the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology, following the merger of the Public Research Centers Henri Tudor and Gabriel Crean, was another milestone in Luxembourg's relatively young R&I history. At this stage, I would like to thank the CEO of the list for joining us today. Professor Gabriel Crean, a strong proponent of results and application-oriented technological research and public-private partnerships, will deliver today's keynote speech after the first of 2 videos that will give you a glimpse behind the scenes of Luxembourg's research and knowledge institutions. Unfortunately, Professor Dr. Rainer Klump, another key figure on the Luxembourg research and innovation horizon, is not able to attend today's event. However, his determination to turn the University of Luxembourg into a leading European research institution able to breed a new generation of innovative, business-minded researchers finds its reflection in the key messages that he will share with us. After a rather difficult start, the Belval Innovation Campus stands ready to be home to the Luxembourg innovation knowledge and research community. It is a formidable opportunity for all players to seize the momentum from the very beginning and build on new opportunities for connection, exchange, and collaboration. In particular, I would like to thank Secretary Hansen for achieving the near impossible. Were it not for his commitment, uniting our community under a common roof would not have become a reality in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, in Luxembourg, the stakeholders involved in research and innovation are fortunate enough to draw on the resources and guidance of two ministries, whose role it is to act not only as a central funding agent, but rather as a partner and enabling force in reducing the regularity burden and implementing the framework needed to facilitate innovation, as well as to attract new businesses and support existing ones. In particular, it is the role of the government, but not the government alone, to develop the skills of our young people and to awaken their sense of curiosity and discovery. It is our responsibility to show them possibilities that exist in the fields of science and engineering. It also means supporting those who do choose to start their own business. We can do that by making sure they have the right business skills and the right conditions to thrive. We, for our part, have decided to be innovative by changing the format of this year's BMR event. We want to spark your sense of curiosity and discovery by giving you the opportunity to visit the laboratories of the Luxembourg Research Centers. In this context, I want to extend a warm thank you to our partners who kindly agreed to open their doors for the BMR participants. Dear Mr. Secretary, ladies and gentlemen, if you listened carefully to me until now, which I do hope, of course, you may be forgiven to be under the impression that the Luxembourg innovation and research ecosystem has reached the ultimate state of perfection. Well, it has not. If this were the case, there would be no need for an event like Business Meets Research. All stakeholders concerned would be pursuing common projects. They would evolve in a state of continuous exchange and interaction, all the while identifying and tackling common challenges together. What we need is yet stronger collaborations and partnerships between research and knowledge institutions and businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprises. This is essential to fostering innovation and economic growth and closing the knowledge and research gap with countries that are ahead of us, not necessarily because they are better, but because they had a head start on us. Let's not forget that Luxembourg's first public research center was formed in 1987 and that the university saw the light of day in 2003 only. We must focus on getting new graduates into the business world and make it easier to bring together the ideas, knowledge and expertise inherent in our research organizations and university with the needs of the businesses that are present in our country and those that we still want to attract. These partnerships are giving our post-secondary students valuable real-world experience in applied research and technology, and they are also providing the businesses involved with the crucial research and development capacity they need to help get their ideas to market. This is a situation in which everyone wins. Finally, I want to underline that we should be open-minded and turn to other countries to derive useful lessons for Luxembourg from promising initiatives aimed at fostering innovation and growth. I am notably thinking of so-called innovation vouchers for SMEs in the region of 5,000 to 10,000 euro, which can be exchanged against studies conducted by public research. While the study itself will benefit the SME, this initiative also helps break down Chinese walls between business, especially small players, and research organizations. To stimulate collaboration between public research and private businesses, deploying a dedicated funding mechanism at the national level has proven a powerful tool for the successful launch of public-private partnerships in many countries. Luxembourg would be well advised to take advantage of such a funding vehicle to further accelerate its diversification strategy. The late Steve Jobs, one of the most innovative thinkers of our time, summed it up very well. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. I'm convinced that none of us wants to be a follower. Let's come together, work together, and plan the future course of innovation and economic growth together to make the most of this country's resources and skills for the benefit of us all. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, I now give the floor to Secretary of State Marc Hansen. Thank you very much for your attention.
So, dear Mr. Schuler, dear Mr. Crean, dear honored guests, as incoming presidency of the European Union, Luxembourg fully acknowledges the importance of research and innovation as part of the Innovation Union and the EU 2020 strategy as main drivers of growth with substantial contributions to job creations. As research and innovation remain a top priority of the Luxembourgish government, the government, and it was mentioned by Mr. Schuler, signed multi-annual contracts with the university, the 3 public research institutions and the National Research Fund, covering a total amount of 1.1 billion euros for the period of 2014 to 2017. Over the last 15 years, Luxembourg has made substantial investments in physical infrastructures in the ICT domain, and I'm referring here especially to communication networks and data centers. Thanks to those increasing public investments, Luxembourg offers a highly attractive business environment today. Although the current government has to face severe budget constraints, it has mobilized some 750 million euros to assure the construction and equipment of the new buildings here in Esch-Belval, where we are standing, for the university and the public research institutions, and in autumn this year, a total of 1,700 research personnel will move to Esch-Belval. This represents the major part of the research and innovation activities in Luxembourg. This will create major synergies between the different actors, will build bridges between public research and companies, and will have a substantial influence on the socio-economic return. That's also a main objective of today's forum, Business Meets Research. This year's edition of Business Meets Research offers you the opportunity to visit research laboratories, and you can meet the researchers in their everyday working environment. You will be able to discover their skills, expertise, and the latest projects and technologies. The aim is to promote business collaboration, technology transfer, and the establishment of public-private research and innovation partnerships. Even though Luxembourg is a small country, where the distances between research and businesses are, in theory, quite short, we have to improve the day-to-day collaboration between companies and research organizations. We definitely need more than 3 spin-offs per year stemming from our public research organizations, and we need definitely more than 15 patents per year from our public research organizations. A number of concrete measures and actions are in place to stimulate this. The National Research Fund has recently launched a proof of concept program which aims to bridge the financial gap between research and the early stage of a marketable innovation. This program has already yielded its first results in terms of a spin-off company created through a funded technology transfer project. The financial state aid program to research, development and innovation, which is currently under review, should include more incentives for public-private collaborations, in particular for the enterprises. By concentrating a high number of research activities to the site of Ash Belval, which also in particular houses the Technoport incubator for innovative startups, we strive to strengthen the links between researchers and entrepreneurs. Our presence here today in Ash Belval at the future home of the University of Luxembourg, the public research centers LIST and LISIR, the National Research Fund and Luxinnovation is a concrete expression of this effort. Some of today's participants will have the opportunity to visit the Luxembourg Center for Systems Biomedicine and the Technoport incubator, which are located on the site since some years ago. It is also symbolic to meet here, right at the border between Luxembourg and France. Research and innovation do not stop at national borders, and we continuously aim to make Luxembourg research and innovation known and renowned far beyond the borders of the Grand Duchy. Business Meets Research has over the past year become a meeting place for researchers and entrepreneurs from Luxembourg, the greater region and further away, and representatives of more than 10 different countries have registered to participate in the forum today and tomorrow. Luxinnovation offers many services in order to better link the research and business worlds. In its daily activities, the agency facilitates the establishment of public-private research and innovation collaborations, supports the creation of innovative startups, and helps businesses as well as public research organizations participate in European research and innovation programs, in particular in Horizon 2020. The Ministry of Higher Education and Research and Luxinnovation have since many years a long-term partnership where Luxinnovation has the role as national contact point of the European research and innovation programs. I am very pleased about the recent presentation showing that during the last 14 months, 67 projects for a total amount of 20 million euros have been accepted for Luxembourgish enterprises and public research organizations. In particular, the University of Luxembourg managed to have 14 projects for a total amount of 7 million euros. Luxinnovation also manages the Luxembourg cluster initiatives, bringing together companies and research organizations in 6 key sectors: automotive components, biohealth, eco-innovation, ICT, materials and production technologies, and space technologies. The clusters should stimulate public-private collaborations and innovation, notably though federating their members and other actors concerned around joint flagship projects based on innovative production processes, products or services ideas. With the addition of Business Meets Research, Luxinnovation and its partners provide the unique opportunity to discover a range of bright ideas stemming from public and private research and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to an end, and I would like to thank you for your attention and wish you fruitful contacts and discussions here in Luxembourg today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hansen, for this really encouraging remarks. And now we come to the first video, which has about 13 minutes. And after this video, we will have the keynote speak of Professor Gabriel Crean. So let's start with the first video, please.
The University of Luxembourg was founded in 2003, so we are a university of the 21st century, and we are the heart and the driver of the national system of innovation and research. We are explicitly research-based, we are well connected to the international community, and we have very strong links with local industry. Our focus areas are ICT, biomedicine, finance, European law and educational sciences, and we will work on promoting these fields also for the coming years.
My name is Bjorn Otterston. I'm the director of S&T, the Interdisciplinary Center for Security, Reliability and Trust at the University of Luxembourg. We conduct research in the area of information and communication technologies with a focus on secure, reliable and trustworthy ICT systems and services. We're an interdisciplinary activity, so we take a holistic view to this problem. Our goal with S&T is we want to conduct research that has a high impact of international highest quality, but also generating results that will impact the society. And we are convinced that the best way of achieving this is working together with partners outside the academic community.
First of all, we offer our researchers. We have top-class researchers coming from all over the world with a spirit of pioneers. Second, we can offer our graduates, which are also very important for the innovation system of the future. We offer already a lot of common projects with industry where we see us as a true partner of the collaboration. And we, of course, offer our infrastructure that can be used for joint projects with industry.
One of our main priorities is to build what we call a partnership program, where we enter into long-term relationships with partners in Luxembourg to develop this area strategically. Today we have 24 partners in this program. We enter bilateral agreements and define research projects together that we also fund together. These are typically 4-year contracts, and we often use industrial PhD candidates to work in these projects and creates a very close collaboration. With the large agreements, our largest partnership is with SES, the satellite communication company, where we have some 10 PhD candidates working.
What I find really fascinating is the way how in this 21st century computational sciences expand into all other areas of research, and that's what we also research here at the university. So there is one particular field that I like very much. It's where the computer-based modeling is linked with the medical and engineering applications. So in particular, the modeling of soft tissue structures, where you can either apply it to medical applications, the education of doctors, Or you can also apply it to the research for new tire structures in the automotive industry. As we are a 21st century university, innovation is in our DNR. That means in all our missions we have innovation inside. So first of all in research, we do this research with an innovative spirit. In education, we train our students and graduates in entrepreneurial skills. And in our third mission, our outreach to society, we are open for even closer contacts with industrial partners.
The way we contribute to the growth and the innovations in Luxembourg is through three main axes. It's through the partnership program, as I described, where we help improve the partners, their products and services to make them more competitive. We also work in attracting R&D investment to Luxembourg. So in the last 2-3 years, we have managed to attract investment from Germany, from Sweden, from Brazil, from Portugal, to attract companies investing in R&D in Luxembourg and working closely with us. And the third axis is we want to also find a way of taking research outcomes and bringing them closer to market, even when we don't have a partnership behind.
Donc les missions du pôle innovation Néobil sont de 3 ordres. Le premier, ça touche à la partie sensibilisation et transfert de technologies innovantes chez les professionnels du secteur, toutes catégories confondues. Et puisqu'on parle de professionnels, ces professionnels sont aujourd'hui un peu plus de 3200 entreprises d'exécution dans le domaine de la construction durable et ça représente un peu plus de 55 000 personnes. Et donc la deuxième mission principale de Néobil, c'est d'imaginer que dans ces 55 000 personnes, il y en a au moins une qui a une idée géniale et de faire en sorte que cette idée géniale puisse devenir un produit ou un service innovant de la construction durable et des écotechnologies. Et donc l'idée de Néobil, c'est d'essayer de se promouvoir comme une interface entre cette idée et le chantier et le marché et sa mise en exécution de ce produit et d'essayer de raccourcir un élastique que nous imaginons être très tendu. La troisième composante, c'est effectivement tout ce qui touche à l'incubateur ou l'incubation de start-up innovantes. Et nous avons la chance d'en avoir une dans la maison aujourd'hui qui s'appelle IMSIM pour Immersive Simulation et qui est plutôt orientée sur les nouvelles technologies de l'information et de la communication, la réalité virtuelle, la réalité augmentée. Donc l'idée de Néobil, c'est d'accompagner à la fois des produits et des services innovants, mais aussi d'accompagner la naissance de start-up parce qu'on croit qu'il y a effectivement un grand potentiel sur le sujet.
Notre collaboration avec les entreprises se distingue deux types. Les entreprises de construction qui mettent en œuvre et les industriels qui produisent des matériaux ou des produits de construction. Nous faisons le distinguo, mais alors il y a de l'autre côté, c'est la partie recherche. En fait, les industriels nous voient comme des chercheurs et la recherche nous voit comme des industriels. Nous essayons de compléter le maillon de la chaîne. Nous avons aussi la connexion avec l'IFSB, l'Institut de formation, qui permet de garantir qu'un produit développé puisse être mis en œuvre de manière correcte sur le chantier. Par exemple, les prémurs avec isolant sous vide, on a pris un isolant qui est dans les frigos ou dans la navette spatiale, on l'a ramené dans un élément en béton de construction brute avec un industriel béton fight. On a assuré la formation avec l'IFSB et on l'a mis en œuvre dans le Living Lab. Ainsi, on a toute la chaîne qui est assurée jusqu'à réellement la vie du produit sur un chantier et sa durabilité. Notre plus-value est au niveau de la compétence métier. Donc nous apportons une vision au niveau de la mise en œuvre et du besoin de l'utilisateur. Au niveau acoustique, au niveau thermique, au niveau architectural parfois, ou même structurel.
Was also Positionement vom CVSeur an Europa einzigartig mischt, als sing innovativ methodologisch Approach. Und das leitet an einer konsequenter Verknüpfung von den klassischen Methoden von den Sciences Humaines mit den Möglichkeiten, die es an den Informations- und Kommunikationstechnologien gibt. Das ist so, wir entwickeln Utensilien, die dann erlaubt, eben die multimedial digital Daten abzubereden, zu analysieren, aber auch ein Enrichissement dafür zu machen und auch hinaus können so zusammen zu packen, dass sie an einer digitalen Publikation auch können über als Plattform veröffentlichen.
For example, in histograph, we analyze images, we identify the faces of persons, and from there we create a social graph that links these people together with each other. But it doesn't stop there. So what we also do is, once we identified a connection between people, you can start to explore further. So you can look, for example, okay, what are current images of these people that appear in there? Other projects that we're working on are, for example, deal with the edition of digital documents. So we work a lot on publishing facsimiles of documents together with a kind of text edition in there. So whenever it's necessary that you have something like a verbatim copy of a document available on your screen and at the same time a digital edition of the document, we work on different kind of solutions for viewing that. If there are partners who look for exploration of media archives, then again connecting large perspective with specific details, that's something where we can basically immediately step in and start cooperating. For example, in the security domain, we see also applications whenever it comes to identifying specific persons in a larger data set, whether it's still images or it's moving images, which are actually also a little bit easier to handle because you have more reference information. And the tool also enables people to collaboratively work together to do different kind of annotations for documents, images, photos, videos, and to work together on the identification of persons or specific features within the images. And then also work together in the analysis of these elements. We can potentially target also the gaming industry and anybody who could help us in disseminating our content, because one of the big goals for us is also to get out this material that we have to make our topic part of the lives of everyday people.
So, as I said before, that was the first video showing some university and some of our research centers. And now I want to call to the microphone here Professor Gabriel Crean, the newly appointed, not even 1 month, appointed new CEO of LIST. Gabriel, the floor is yours. Thank you.
I'll just wait for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today. As Jean-Paul has said, I'm only here for the last 2 weeks, but already I've had the opportunity to meet so many people, both in government, both in the agencies such as Marc Hansen and Jean-Paul Schuler, and also in the research community. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here at the heart of Europe. What I'd like to share with you today, if we can put on the slides, is an overview of key enabling technologies and the importance to the Luxembourgish economy. Good. So, as I said, I was asked to speak this morning by Luxinnovation on key enabling technologies as a driver to competitiveness. What I wanted to do was really take the opportunity to discuss in a general way 3 issues. One is regarding innovation, in particular how innovation drives economic growth. The second is to talk in detail about key enabling technologies. This afternoon, or this morning, you will visit a number of laboratories, so you'll see them in real life. So I'll only cover it in a very general way. And finally, as you've heard Secretary of State this morning, patents are very important, and I wanted to mention KET's intellectual property and some of the challenges that we face. So let me start with innovation. I think you're all aware today that innovation is the key driver for future regional economic growth. Luxembourg cannot move forward to have a strongly resilient and diversified economy without having a strong capacity and capability in innovation. And we can see that here. This is a mapping of economic output as a function of innovation output along the axis. And what you can see, there's a clear correlation between regions that have a strong innovative output and actually a strong economic performance. It's no surprise that this is also reflected in the relationship between GDP per capita, and Luxembourg is a wonderful example where we have a strong GDP per capita and an increasingly globally competitive index. Because within the global competitive index, the 11 factors that were there, innovation is one of the key proponents in that. And we can move on and on. We can also link GDP with manufacturing capability. And this brings us very nicely to key enabling technologies. Because as you'll see, as we move through the presentation, technologies are essential if we want to bring new and innovative products to global markets. Now, I've shared this slide once before in Luxembourg, but I wanted to emphasize it again. Manufacturing makes a disproportionate contribution to advanced economies. Financial services are absolutely wonderful, and Luxembourg has built a very strong reputation on financial services, but they do not in particular support strong R&D activity. In fact, it's manufacturing that drives a lot of the private sector R&D revenues, as you can see. Over 77% in general, 79% in the US, and almost 80% in Asia. What we also see is that as we increase the production complexity, and that's on the horizontal axis, and we increase the innovation level of industry, the amount of R&D that you do, and you're all here today to look at this linkage between business and R&D, what we see is that we have increasingly co-location of R&D and manufacturing, the round circles that you see here. This is McKinsey data from the end of last year. And what is shown is that if we want to have a very strong R&D base, we equally need a very strong industry base. The two go hand in hand, and that's why this meeting today is so important. So as I said, private sector R&D expenditure from the manufacturing sector really supports the vast majority in advanced economies of R&D. This has been well recognized in the US. Secretary of State Hansen talked about education, talked about innovation and research. In the US, they're very pragmatic. They say we will out-innovate, we will out-educate, but also we will out-build, because they now recognize that they need a strong industrially rooted economy, and they're working very hard on this. One example of this is they set up last year Select USA, which is bringing back US manufacturing industry and US industry in general into the US. Caterpillar has brought back jobs from Japan. Ford is bringing back very significant number of jobs from Mexico. Intel has not opened a semiconductor manufacturing plant outside the US since President Obama took office. And we know that very well in other countries like Ireland. And then you see Apple will start making Macs again in the US this year, and is already shifting significant production back to the US. So the importance of manufacturing and technology is becoming very clear. This is copied now across the globe. Taiwan is now actively attracting back and encouraging manufacturing and technology on the Taiwanese mainland. They've put in place a task force. I was actually there to talk to them quite recently. And the potential job creation in Taiwan, well, Taiwan has invested over 140 billion in mainland China, creating 80 million jobs. So if even a small percentage of these come back to Taiwan, you can see the win. And this is in fact now where several European countries are looking. So the European Parliament is very active on this. Previously President Buzek of the European Parliament, now he's chairman of the Industry, Research, Technology, Innovation Committee, ITRI in the European Parliament, has worked very closely with us to organise a series of meetings on reshoring of EU manufacturing and anchoring effectively EU manufacturing in Europe. So I want to go on to why KETs now are the innovation engine for this economic growth. And hopefully I can make the case for that here in Luxembourg and across Europe. The innovation challenge, as we all know, is to convert knowledge to the market. Unfortunately, scientific publications do not in and of themselves create products. Scientific citations do not create jobs per se. Science on its own does not generate products by itself. Universities on their own lack the capacity to move forward and to create products. And I'll show you this. The European challenge is that we are excellent in science, and unfortunately we have a strong gap in converting that science into technology and innovative products on the market. This has been recognized again around the world, this, if you like, valley of debt between knowledge and market. It was recognized in a group that I led at the European Commission on Key Enabling Technologies. Our report said there's a strong gap. It was recognized equally by the equivalent group in the US, the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, where they said we have this gap between universities and the private sector. And that's where research technology organizations such as the new list come into play. We provide, if you like, a handshake between basic science and industry. And that's where now most advanced economies are focusing resources. If I move on, what we need to do to cross this valley of debt is to establish a very strong capability in technological research, to build the technology building blocks that can be put into prototype product. We then need to take that prototype product and make product development results and produce real products on the market, and finally manufacturing. There's 3 steps, but without the last step and the first step, we cannot get further. So you can see where research technology organizations play a strong role in converting this science into technology building blocks. Moving forward, we in fact recognize that technology is becoming the key component now in innovation processes. We can have scientific ideas, and in fact many scientific ideas take decades to translate into a usable piece of technology. One example is the law of gravity. It's only very recently that we've managed to make accelerometers that are sufficiently accurate and sufficiently robust that they can be integrated into product. So when we turn a scientific idea into a technology, and when you have a technology, you should have a patent. And that's what I'm telling all staff in LIST. You cannot have technologies without patents. And I was delighted to hear the Secretary of State emphasize that today. Once you have a technology, it can go into many different products. And this is an example from where I was previously as a VP for technology. We developed an accelerometer, and this is the set of companies and different markets that we transferred that technology to. You cannot transfer a scientific idea or a publication. We need technology, and that's where now Luxembourg has to focus very strongly in encouraging the links between industry and our technology capabilities. So it's increasingly clear technology is extremely important. This is reflected, in fact, in the US focus. The US spends approximately 17% of their research funding on basic research, supporting their strong universities. They spend 22% of their public funding on applied research, and the vast amount on development research between industry and their technology research organizations. So there's no surprise. It's the same in Taiwan. It's 23% on basic research. It's the same in Japan. It's the same in many countries. And this is one challenge we'll have in Luxembourg as we move towards this innovation-driven economy, to increasingly fine-tune where we place our resources for maximum impact. And I'm looking at Marc Hansen in FNR and our representative from the ministry here. Again, the US has moved fast on this. They're rapidly creating new research technology organizations. They've allocated €3 billion over the next 5 years to create innovation institutes. These innovation institutes focus on applied research, not blue sky science. They focus on prototyping, and they focus on software development. In fact, it's a wonderful match with what LIST is and will increasingly do in the future. Moving on, Europe has responded, initially slowly, but now with increasing pace, and Europe identified key enabling technologies. They identified, in fact, 6 technologies that they felt were at the base, at the heart of most products. You can see them here: nanotechnologies, electronics, biotech, photonics, and materials. And they selected these. They published an initial communication on that, a strategy for key enabling technologies, and in the last 4 years we've moved ahead very strongly to put in place a robust policy landscape for that. I want to share with you why these technologies are important. And I want to come at it from an unusual angle. Normally, technologists like myself like to push technology. Here I want to show you how technology can respond to societal challenges. And I decided to use the set of societal challenges that were identified by the European Commission: health, environment, society, energy, transport, and if you like, green energy. When we look at these, excuse me, technology is key, obviously. If we can move on the slide. Whoops, it worked earlier. What I'm going to show you, in fact, is that for any product, in fact, uses a combination of 4 or more key technologies. Can you move on? Thank you. Again. Please. Again. Okay, thank you. So what I start with here is, for example, a green vehicle. We can use biotechnology to make tires. We have photonics. We have software. We have advanced manufacturing. We have innovative materials. And we need all these kits to make an electric vehicle. If I take another example, one of the challenges that we have is on green energy. To make a photovoltaic cell, we need nanotechnology, we need photonics, we need electronics, we need advanced materials. In fact, there's good examples of this work very close to us here on the site. And to make a photovoltaic device, we need a combination of key enabling technologies. And lastly, if I move towards the healthcare challenge, a pacemaker, we need a battery, we need electronics, we need biotechnology, and we need advanced manufacturing. So for whatever product we come to, we need a combination of key enabling technologies. And that's where LIST is focusing on materials, on nanotechnology, on electronics, on ICT, to try and bring these capabilities together. So 6 kits, and then we end up with a technology. Kits go into products, and these products go into applications for societal use. So kits, in fact, underpin a wide range of products, and they underpin, more importantly, strategic European value chains. So again, just for an example, if we look at a value chain going from a material to a solution and a service, if I take the car industry, we can go from a novel material through to component, through to a product, which is a car tire, a bio-based tire, addressing a societal challenge. We can do the same in the lighting area, go from a new material, a new equipment, a new product, down to a new solution. And the same for any other area we key to address. The key point to recognize is that at the start of these value chains, they're all based on kits. And in fact, when strong industries move to one end of the value chain without retaining competence across the value chain, they run into difficulties. The best example of that is Nokia. Nokia initially had extremely strong competences all along a value chain to make a mobile phone. And then they outsourced the electronics to ST Microelectronics. They outsourced the materials to Korea, in fact. They outsourced some of the software. In fact, what they retained was very innovative design. But then when the new Apple phone came on board, they hadn't got the materials capability to make the touch-sensitive glass. They hadn't got the electronics capability to integrate the functions that were needed. They were in ST Microelectronics in Grenoble or elsewhere. They hadn't got the integration capability of the hardware and software, and they were dead in the market. Nokia, 5 years ago, 300 billion euro. Today, well, Nokia Telecommunications, peanuts, and the rest of Nokia systems, very little. So unless we have a capability along a value chain, and I think that's important for the industries here today, we become very weak. We need resilient and strong value chains. Another way to look at that is going from kits, we can put these key technologies into products, and they don't go into a vast number of applications and challenges. And I suppose there's no surprise there that we find many of the key sectors that Luxinnovation is driving with the ministry economy, the space sector, the materials sector, the security sector, the built environment, etc. So for Luxinnovation and the government to succeed, we need to also support the key technologies at the bottom of that chain. And that's why we're setting up now a very strong relationship with Luxinnovation. And I'm delighted we both will be here on this site very soon. So moving forward, technologies, and this is a subject that's now been discussed very closely with the European Commission and Member States. Technologies can also help us address some of the disadvantages that we have in manufacturing in Europe. As you all know, one of the key competitive weaknesses in Europe is the cost of energy for our manufacturing and for many manufacturing processes around. And in fact, what they've done in the US is looked at technology solutions for this. You can read it here. KETS can rejuvenate manufacturing by opening pathways to new energy efficient manufacturing at competitive cost. And this was one of the key areas identified by Steve Chu when he was US Secretary of Energy. KETS can yield game-changing technologies to lower manufacturing costs. And in fact, just in the last number of years, energy consumption saved by technology in the US equals 1/3 of all the energy used. So as it's possible to have manufacturing, to have energy-intensive manufacturing, and still be competitive through the use of KETS. And I think that's one area that we need to look at in more detail as well as we go forward. Because of the importance now of KETS and the increase in recognition, there's now very significant funding increase in KETS-related investment. The European Investment Bank has established a pool of €10 billion for KETS-related investment in manufacturing, and you can see the dramatic rise in funding just a year ago because of the action we undertook in Brussels. Moving on, I would like to believe that the Luxembourg KETS initiative is LIST working with Luxinnovation and FNR and the university on the Belval Innovation Campus. And I know the staff and I are going to work very hard to make that a reality. So I just wanted to say a few final words on intellectual property. And it was very interesting that the Secretary of State mentioned patents and the very small number of patents that we have. And that's a key concern also for me. I would open the discussion with a very provocative statement. Innovation without protection is philanthropy. There's no point in LIST working on novel research projects if we're not going to patent the results. Otherwise, we're just publishing so that Chinese researchers, who are as well funded as we are, I mean, the buildings are the same as we have, will just read the results, take them, and get products onto the market faster than us. So I completely agree with the Secretary of State. We need a new drive to protect the public-funded research in Luxembourg. And I make no apology for pushing that inside LIST. Innovation without protection is philanthropy. The impact of IP on the European economy, just to put some figures on it, 40% of European GDP is generated by IP-intensive industries in the ICT sector, in the materials sector, across the board, essentially. 76 million jobs depend on the IP that's generated. And you can read some of this data in the Intellectual Properties Key Report from Business Europe. So it's industry saying this, not I. Same in the US. Of course, in the US, they are more direct than we are. We say, our jobs depend on IP. They talk about theft of American intellectual property. The ongoing theft of IP, they say, is the greatest transfer of wealth in history. It's equivalent to $300 billion per year in the US. And you can see where they're pointing the finger at that. But again, we have to be very realistic looking at this. There's a tremendous focus inside companies on IP rights protection. But as we move down the value chain to KETS products, IP generation protection is equally as important. And I hope we can bring a new focus to that working with Luxinnovation, and LIST is going to develop a particular expertise in that. And lastly, just to show you that it's becoming a very serious issue, we've done a complete analysis of patents in the key enabling technologies area. You can see on the KETS level, the red color that you see on the bottom is Asian patents. The blue color is European, and the green color is US. And on the top, it's more explicit. You can see the dramatic rise in IP protection elsewhere. So, it's a fallacy to think that in Asia, they just copy. In fact, they're patenting far more than we are every single day. The company that deposited the most patents last year was Huawei in China. It makes optical routers. It wasn't the US or it wasn't the European company. So it's a key issue. And then, not to emphasize the point too much, but these are patent applications from government and research organizations. The top one is French. Because I'm modest, I won't say which it is. The second one is German, is Fraunhofer, but look at the challenge coming up. 2 Chinese organizations are already within the top 5. And these are research organizations like LIST. like LIH, etc. So we really need to focus on IP and working jointly with industry to create the right IP that can protect your products. I'll finish by just showing a worrying trend in Europe is the fact that a lot of IP is licensed to companies outside Europe. Researchers invent something and then they license it to a Japanese company or a Chinese company or wherever else, rather than, and that's with public state money. So we need to look at that. So in summary, innovation is the key driver for economic growth. I hope I've convinced you of that. KETs are the building blocks, the Lego bricks of competitive products. Without the capability or a capacity in KETs, we cannot develop innovative products. And I think it's beholding on the Luxembourg government and industry to significantly increase our capacity and capability in KETs to underpin and anchor our future economic diversification and growth. So I leave it there. I had a slide which I was going to show to the Minister, which was on the targets for the Europe 2020. If we really want to achieve 20% growth and 20% GDP based on innovation by 2020, we have a long way to go. So we need to invest significantly in this. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in our research labs during the day. Thank you. Jean-Paul has asked me if there's questions you'd like to pose. I'd be delighted to answer them in general. Please.
Gabriel, thank you very much. The CATS patents versus application patents, can you briefly explain how you maintain cost-wise, maintenance-wise, are there fundamental differences between maintaining a CATS patent individually and portfolio-wise compared to application patents?
CATS patents, as you move forward, are normally coming from novel technological research. In many countries, the government and the agencies have created a dedicated fund for that to ensure exploitation on their own territory. So it's the case in Germany, it's the case in Ireland. In Ireland, Enterprise Ireland, the equivalent of Luxinnovation, has a patent fund. If researchers in a research technology organization wish to file a patent, they will fund that. They will fund that. It's still the property of the university or the research technology organization. It's just that the agency concerned, the government agency, has a first right, if you like, to ensure that the IP is exploited in its home country of generation. So once it's exploited there, there's no difficulty. If the research organization or company wishes to exploit it outside, then there's a negotiation. But essentially it's a fund set up. The Irish government does this, the German government does this. I think with Luxinnovation and the ministries and FNR, we could look at having a fund to support patenting in the country. I think it would encourage more patenting. It's a risk-taking. It takes a long time to get a return on patents in certain cases. So I think it's something that we could look at together in that regard.
You mentioned that innovation without protection is philanthropy. I want to say if innovation or IP protection without communitarian patents, its cost is much more cost added to it. When do you expect the European communitarian patent to be fully functional for small businesses?
The European patent is fully functional for the vast majority of European member states at present. That's the reality. It's just two countries did not agree. So that's there. I think in most cases, filing in Europe is still, with this new patent, is comparable to the US. The two countries involved are Italy and another country I won't mention. I think there's not a significant difference in cost issue. If you don't file the patent on your research, It's very difficult to transfer that research to industry. What are you transferring? Some ideas on paper, etc. It's very difficult if you wish to have a startup company. Venture capitalists require IP protection. I've established 3 companies. I've raised 60 million euro. They do IP patent verification, normally with outside bodies. So you need patents to move forward in most cases. Please.
Thank you. You mentioned in your example of Nokia and Apple about these mobile phones that Nokia had outsourced the chip production. You mentioned the software outsourced. In reality, Nokia didn't fail because they have outsourced these things. It was because that there's too many layers of administration of top of innovation. There was too far from the people who could innovate to the people who accepted putting in new features. You said this thing about the chip, but Apple are famous for not producing the chips. The chips in Apple's phones are produced by Samsung and other companies. Huh?
Samsung manufactured the chips. Apple designed the chips. They did the initial products themselves. It's like Google. Google designed the phone, and now they license software. But the initial products, product prototyping, etc., was all done in Apple, with Steve Jobs' famous attention to detail. Everything was done in Apple. The chips are now manufactured by Samsung, it's true. But just imagine, up until very recently, there was a major litigation between Apple and Samsung. If Apple did not have the capability in-house themselves, do you think they would have fought that litigation and defended their position if they did not have the chip design nailed down, if they did not have the chip integration nailed down, if they didn't have the chip interface with the software, etc., nailed down? No. Apple did it all in-house themselves. They chose a foundry. As the foundry they chose was Samsung. The reason they chose Samsung was because there is other foundries in Taiwan, but there's more risk with some of the IP issues that we addressed. So they did it all in-house themselves. The same with Google, all in-house. And the main problem that was with Nokia was that most of the technology was subcontracted elsewhere, outsourced elsewhere. They couldn't react with the speed that Samsung could react because Samsung had all the technology in-house. They seen the Apple development. They said, that's going to be the new standard. The only company that could react with all the competences lined up was Samsung to Apple. And now both share the market between them. And Nokia is dead. And many other mobile phone companies are dead as well. So.
Bonjour, Moyan. Good morning. My name is Xavier Mazi from XM, and my question is for Mr. Schuler, you or Mr. Hansen. I don't know if you heard about a meeting which is Innova Brussels. It's not far from here. It's from 2 years now. I went there, and I'm a part of them. And I meet French people, I meet Polish, I meet people from Thailand, from Malaysia, but no one from Luxembourg. And I think it's quite sad because it's not so far from here, and Luxembourgish have a card to play there, I think. What do you think about? So it's more than 4,000 square meters. It's more. Sorry, there is a problem with. Yes, it's more than. It's about 4,000 square meters, about 20 countries. About 250 inventions presented, and about 4,200 people coming. And I think it's quite a good place for Luxembourg, than Innova Brussels. What do you think?
That's why we're here today, for everyone to meet and network and get to know each other better. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. As with many statistics on Luxembourg, they are slightly influenced by the fact that we are very fast over the border. When it comes to patents, you know that many companies active here have headquarters outside of Luxembourg, which means that patents will often not be visible here. How do you think to influence that?
I was speaking from the perspective of business meets industry, from the perspective of a new Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology that has been created, that will move hundreds of people on July the 12th to this very site. So from my perspective, I wish to emphasize in the discussions that will take place over the coming period the importance of patenting. Counting the numbers is a different game. I just wanted to emphasize the importance. But there is a KETS observatory being established in Brussels just to do that, inside DG Enterprise, or DG Grow as it's called now, so there's increasing intention on it. But I just wanted to emphasize the importance.
Good. So, okay, no more questions?
Jean-Paul, I'll hand back to you.
So thank you very much, Professor Crean, for this excellent presentation. I had hoped that there will be more questions, because it seems that we have a slightly technical problem here. So to bridge that technical problem, but it seems we could not solve it for the moment. So nevertheless, I would suggest that we go for the second set of videos presenting other research organizations here in Luxembourg.
La question était de savoir comment organiser au mieux la logistique entre différents acteurs qui sont partie prenante d'un flux logistique. Et dans ce cadre-là, nous avons utilisé la table pour permettre de visualiser les flux logistiques, les différents endroits où pouvaient être stockées des marchandises, de manière à trouver les meilleures configurations possibles. Et cette table, en fait, a été utilisée par des acteurs comme CFL Cargo, ici au Luxembourg, et d'autres acteurs de la logistique, de manière à pouvoir échanger et discuter sur les meilleurs flux logistiques pouvant être mis en place entre les différents acteurs. Un exemple de senseur que nous avons développé et pour lequel nous avons un brevet dans le département est un senseur de géolocalisation indoor. Ce type de senseur permet donc de localiser une personne et l'endroit où elle se trouve à l'intérieur d'un bâtiment. Donc c'est une option importante qui complète bien sûr la géolocalisation que l'on trouve à l'extérieur du bâtiment, et des applications sont nombreuses, comme par exemple une application que nous avons développée au niveau européen dans le cadre d'un projet européen. C'est une application de visite de musée. Disons que notre rôle en tant qu'entité de transfert de technologie et de recherche appliquée, c'est, je dirais, d'être les premiers à être au courant de nouveaux résultats, de nouvelles technologies, et de pouvoir penser à des usages possibles, à de nouvelles applications de cette technologie. Donc toute entreprise pourrait le faire, mais ça demanderait alors un travail de veille très conséquent, un travail aussi d'expérimentation pour voir si la technologie rencontre ou pas les besoins. Et dans ce cas, je dirais, c'est notre rôle en tant que centre de transfert de technologie et de recherche appliquée, de jouer ce lien finalement entre la production de nouvelles connaissances, la production de nouvelles technologies et la détection de nouveaux usages.
We are here in the Department of Materials Research and Technology of the LIST, which deals with the translation of state-of-the-art materials research into applicable technology. The MRT department focuses its research, development and innovation activities into two specific fields. One is nanomaterials and nanotechnology. In this field we're interested, for instance, into functional oxides, into transparent electronics, but also into nano-enabled cosmetics and medicine. The second research unit focuses on composite materials. There is a direct link with the composite industry in Luxembourg, and here we focus on functional and bio-based composites and also of interfaces in composites. Typically, industrial partners are both on the Luxembourg side, rather large companies like Goodyear, Delphi and IE and ArcelorMittal, but also international companies like Zeiss, with whom we are working on the transfer of technology of mass spectrometers. Within the department, we've got a specific organization for the collaboration with industry through a partnership group, which is composed of 4 people and which is the main entrance point of all industry partners to our department. They're mainly also in charge for setting up public-private partnerships, so-called PPPs with industrial partners within the Loi RDE of Luxembourg. The activity of the MRT is accelerated by top-class facilities. For instance, we've got infrastructures for materials characterization of about 500 square meters, addressing all types of industrial needs in terms of physical, chemical characterization, surface characterization, and mechanical testing. We are proud that we can today, with all our expertise and our young and dynamic staff, help industrial partners in Luxembourg and also on the international level.
Nous sommes ici dans le département Environmental Research and Innovation, dont l'objectif est essentiellement de développer des nouveaux outils, des nouveaux produits, des nouveaux procédés pour répondre à un certain nombre de challenges sociétaux, comme l'impact sur l'environnement par l'homme qui est devenu de plus en plus important, la dégradation des ressources naturelles, la raréfaction des ressources naturelles. On a besoin de plus en plus de matériaux renouvelables. Et donc, nous, on essaie de répondre à ces besoins et de développer des produits, des nouveaux outils, des procédés pour les industriels, pour se positionner par rapport à ces nouveaux défis sociétaux. On travaille avec des grandes entreprises, des petites entreprises, donc c'est très variable un peu en fonction des secteurs. Par exemple, dans le domaine des bioénergies, du biogaz, on travaille avec les stations de biogaz, que ce soit au Luxembourg, que ce soit un fermier qui a une station de biogaz ou des syndicats, ou on a de plus en plus aussi de collaboration, par exemple avec Enovos, qui a des grandes stations de production de biogaz dans la grande région et qui veulent optimiser le fonctionnement de ces stations. Dans le domaine plus environnemental, on a aussi beaucoup d'activités, par exemple, pour analyser tout au long du processus de fabrication l'analyse du cycle de vie. Quel est l'impact sur l'environnement pour les entreprises, pour diminuer, par exemple, les ressources qu'elles utilisent au niveau énergie, au niveau eau, au niveau impact sur l'environnement. Et là, on travaille avec toute une série d'entreprises comme Delphi, ArcelorMittal, Target au Luxembourg, pour optimiser donc leur fonctionnement au niveau impact écologique. Un des projets sur lesquels on travaille beaucoup, c'est sur la valorisation des plantes à fibres. Ce sont des plantes donc, qui sont utilisées pour leurs propriétés intrinsèques de production de fibres, qui peuvent avoir différentes applications, que ce soit utilisées comme biocomposites, mais aussi dans la construction. Et dans ce cadre, on vient de lancer un projet avec Chaud de Content pour intégrer des fibres de chanvre dans la fabrication de nouvelles briques. Pour la construction donc, durable, pour remplacer des matériaux, pour les rendre plus légères, par exemple, dans la construction durable.
The Luxembourg Institute of Health, or LIH, is a public research center. We are active for more than 25 years now, and then our focus is on 3 domains: cancer, infection and immunity, and population health. What we are doing is to train our researchers that they are more aware of the needs of the industry. That's one thing. The other thing is we involve our tech transfer office from the start of the projects, from the design of the projects, in order to be able to produce products and services which are of real interest for industry. I think nowadays most companies are interested in ideas that have reached a certain level of development before they take them over for more commercial development, and public research can provide these first steps of research.
Our research focuses on metastasis and on anti-angiogenic therapy and on lung tumors, and finally on brain tumors. And I think within Luxembourg that is the main expertise within the oncology department. So what we have, for instance, we have unique preclinical experimental models that the industry doesn't have. And we believe our models are more sophisticated than what the industry has. And I think we can bring these models to the industry, and the industry can take advantage of that actually by using the knowledge that actually comes from these models to development of new therapeutic compounds, and also to identify new therapeutic targets. And I think communication with industry is very important. And I think the challenge is to actually take the industry and join it with the translational work that we are doing in trying to find new treatment principles. And I think also we can provide knowledge to the industry why a specific drug is not working.
One of our most important activities is actually the development of vaccination strategies, meaning that we are trying to develop a universal vaccine against influenza virus so that one doesn't have to revaccinate every year, for every season and for every seasonal strain. And another aspect is the development of a strategy to vaccinate against tick-borne pathogens. And the third one is the development of a strategy against environmental toxins. I think if you have a particular expertise like we have, we are one of the regional reference labs of WHO in a particular area, measles and rubella. And so it's pretty natural that people ask us for our advice or for collaboration when they start a project on these particular pathogens. The key of the interaction with industry is finding and funding. So we have to find each other, we have to find the right partner, and then of course we have, in addition, to find the funding. So both is necessary, because sometimes the industry doesn't have the funding, but if there's public funding for a joint venture, that would certainly facilitate the interaction and the collaboration.
Our collaborations with the industry are in three major areas at this point. In the field of HIV research, we have collaborations in the development of assays that could help to better predict resistance to current drugs that are being used for treating patients. And then in the second area where we are highly active is in the field of allergy diagnosis. We are experts in identifying and characterizing new allergens that can be used for novel method of detecting patient antibodies that make patients allergic. And the third field where we have an expertise in is in the field of autoimmune diseases, where we are not only working in the basic research, but we are also developing new ways of treating autoimmune diseases such as type 1 diabetes or multiple sclerosis. For the industry, both for the diagnostic as well as for the therapeutic industry, it is really important to develop products based on unmet medical needs. And this is why we also orient partly our research on unmet medical needs. So that's our strategy to define these unmet medical needs before we go into a project. The way we approach this is that we are really closely collaborating with clinicians here in Luxembourg, for instance, with clinicians at the CHL in the allergy field. We are really exchanging our views on a weekly basis. We have meetings together where researchers meet the clinicians and the other way around. And this way we make sure that we are really on top of what is needed in the daily clinical context.
So that's the end of the opening session. I thank you for coming, and I hope that you stay with us the whole day or the whole afternoon and even evening, because I believe there's also a session in the evening. And I pass now the microphone to my friend Laurent Federspiel, and he will give us, all of us, some points of the logistic, what we have to do now. I believe I was a quite good timekeeper also, huh? So it was not so bad. We are even 2 minutes in advance of our time schedule, so that means that we have 2 more minutes for coffee, I think. No?
Excellent, yeah.
Okay, Laurent, please.
Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess the 2 videos had really also the purpose a little bit to showcase the different areas which we have here in public research in Luxembourg. And I guess I wanted to point out that it is not that we will resolve problems or that we discover that we will launch new products. The purpose of today is basically that we discover what public research in Luxembourg can do. And I guess we push really also on the transversality between the different areas. So that's why also the next part of the program, and I'm waiting here on my slides. Probably I need to get here. Yes. Okay, so here we are. So this afternoon and this tomorrow, so we're going to discover the different research lab live. That's why we have some logistics set up for you. So we are today, now here in the Maison du Savoir. That's the building where we are today, right now at the moment. And we have now to move a little bit, because you also could notice this morning there are a lot of construction still on the side. So what we have prepared is that we have buses close to the Rockhal. So there you're going to find our buses. So we really need to ask you to get to those buses if you have signed in for a specific lab. So how it works. There is a first visit starting at 11:15. 11:15, so that's really the time which you need to keep in mind. 11:15 it starts, and then we have different visits to propose. So as said, the buses will start close to the Rockhal, and you find out here's different numbers. So 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. What does it mean? Everybody has been given such a nice piece of paper, and on the back side you discover in which in which lab you have signed in, if you have done so. And according to this number, you should then just go to this location and get into the bus. Other visits are the 2, 3, and 4, which will take place at the Technoport. So those people are a little bit, have some advantages because it's a shorter way. And the visit number 5, that's the LCSB building where the visit will take place. So then when we have started those visits, okay, yes, I asked to get you a reminder. So please, 11:15 at the buses, because we have some logistics beyond, and also we have an afternoon session, so we need to make sure that people are on time. So we are somehow very strict on this timing, at least at the morning, so that we can start on time. So please be so kind and go to the buses 11:15. I also will ask my colleague to ring the bell again so that you have the necessary time to join those buses and that we can leave on time. If not, then I guess we're going to really have run into trouble with our logistics for the whole day. Then, after the visits, the buses will also bring you back, and also, I guess, people which coming from Technoport and LCSB, we're going to meet at the Halle des Poches à Fond. So that's the building in between the hauts fourneaux, the ovens. Signs will be there, so you cannot miss it. There we're also going to serve you a quick lunch. And at the same place, also, you discover, coming back, you discover here this sign. It's the lab, the mobile lab, coming from the Fraunhofer, which you also can visit there. Then after the quick lunch, we restart at 2:30. We restart at 2:30, offering again the same visits as this morning. So it is exactly the identical program, the identical sites, you cannot miss it. I have just to make you aware that this morning, unfortunately, the visit number 2, I guess it was the one from SNT, cannot take place. So there we had some conflicts with the agendas, but it will happen this afternoon. So people, and we try to join everybody who was signed in there, but if people have in mind to visit this morning the SNT at the Technoport, so please make another choice. We have in every other lab, we have still room to accept further people to participate. So feel free just to join whatever lab you would like to discover. Some other details. It's about the that's again here's the bus which I wanted to take. It's the EBMT mobile lab, which can be discovered from 11 to 17 at your convenience. So it is all day open, and there have been scheduled 3 specific tours with also some explanation about the details, which also you could have signed in. And I was asked to just to add that it is not lasting 45 minutes, but it's about 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes you have seen it. It's not that big lab, I would say. Then I guess one of the key highlights is, because we have worked hard this whole day, is that then this afternoon we're going to meet again, since the buses are bringing you back to this location. Again, it's the Halle des Poches. And then we have also more time, I would say, for networking and also to catch back some energy. It's where we have here networking barbecue. So we have ordered good weather, and we have ordered then some grill barbecue. So feel free to join us there and to get some energy back. One other detail which I need to share with you is that we have arranged that if you have parked on the square mile parking, you get reimbursed your ticket. So you just ask somebody of my colleagues to get a free ticket to get out of the square mile. As mentioned here, it is, okay, we have now, after this session, we're going to close, the Maison du Savoir. So first, okay, you can join us then at the Hall des Poches à Fond. There you can also exchange your ticket. But something more important is, if people have given in the cloakroom their coat, vestiaire, so you need to take it now with you, because we close here this side around 11:30. And then we're going to meet the whole day at the Hall des Poches. Okay, just for tomorrow, so people who have signed in tomorrow, please be aware it will not take place at Belval. It will take place at the Chambre de Commerce in Luxembourg. So it's the B2B matchmaking event, which will take place at the Kirchberg, where also usually the BMR was always taking place. So be aware it is tomorrow, it's in Luxembourg City. And as said, if there are any further questions for this one, and if you want to have some further meetings, feel free to contact Arnaud Dubon. We have here also his phone number, so if you are quickly, you can write it down. If not, just ask one of the guys from Luxinnovation, myself. We're going to help you to make it, to fix it. Okay, and for the time being, I wish you a very pleasant day. Very fruitful discoveries, and now, since we are very well in timing, so we offer you a small coffee break, and as said, 11:15, at least the one who have signed in the buses, at 11:15 the buses will leave. Thank you.